The name of the company is Estetique, Estetique USA, and we're based in Miami. And we have been doing this for about 25 years. And we're very big in South America. Now we're actually taking the U.S. by storm. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But we have, we've done a lot of hard work. We have about over 5,000 units placed in the non-invasive industry. That's our space. About 1,000 centers in 25 countries over 20 years. And that's in a nutshell, that's who we are.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and the shakers of the beauty business. And today is no exception. Today, we're going to be able to interview Moshe Segebre, who is with us today on this Zoom call from Miami, Florida. Welcome, Moshe. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you, Grant. Nice to see you.
Fantastic. It's great to see you, although I wish you were here in our studio in Manhattan Beach.
Soon we'll be there. Yes,
I'm going to hold you to that. Moshe, I'm going to hold you to that. There are many people on the program today who do not know who you are. And You're huge. And I want you to explain to everybody first about your company. And why don't you start with where you're from and where you grew up?
Sure.
And tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, huh?
Yes. Well, I was born in Barranquilla, Colombia, the same city that Shakira and Sofia Vergara are from. And I came to America. That was my dream, to come to America when I was 18 years old. I came on a cargo ship, Grant, actually. This is like the American dream. With $500 on the Bible, that's all I had to my name. And looking for a dream. I was 18. I remember crying and seeing the ship leave Colombia. My mom and my sisters were there, my dad. And, and in the ship, you have a lot of time to think. It was 7 days of voyage. And I came to America. That was my promised land, really. And not many people, even in these times, come to America on ships. As you know, back then it was Eastern Airlines. I could have gotten a plane and come to Miami. But, if I may, I want to tell you a quick story of how that happened.
Please.
Why I came on yes, it is a beautiful story. Even I love to hear it from, remember, especially when I'm having a bad day. Next to my house lived the captain of a ship who every 2 weeks would come to the U.S., bring in cement on a freight ship. And I asked them, I had this opportunity. There was a missionaries that went down to Colombia to build a church. And they made on national television, not national, local television, they say, hey, these Americans have come here. Who would like to come and volunteer to help them build the church? And only 3 people showed up. It was me, somebody who ended up working for me here in the U.S. eventually, and a guy who was a pastor here in Miami. So all 3 of us showed up there. And one of the families invited me to come to America. I had to actually won a scholarship to go to Russia. Back then, if you remember, in South America, there was like the Cold War. So Russia wanted to, if you were a good student, they wanted to bring you over with all expenses paid to Moscow. And the U.S. basically just had, the U.S. is the U.S. Everybody wants to come here. So they invited me to come, and they wanted to pay for my ticket. My family offered to pay for my ticket. But I said, I was young, and I said, hey, why don't I give me a ride on one of your ships? You go there every 2 weeks, so nobody has to pay anything. And the guy basically told me, no, that's impossible. So I learned, Grant, one of the lessons that I tell my children, do not always go to the top. Don't go to the middleman. So I found out who the owner of the company was, and one of the richest families in Colombia. And I showed up there 3 days to see her, Maria Cecilia Ruiseco. If she's listening today, if not, I should send her this podcast. And she, after 3 days, she goes, what can I do for you? So I wanted you to give me a ride on one of the ships. I explained to her the situation. I want to go to study to the U.S. And she goes, are you kidding me? Is this why you came here to see me? And I felt kind of like, whoa, my family, I don't do this for my family. What if you break a leg? What if you bring drugs? Back then, a lot of the guys were found with drugs on the ship. So he goes, I can't risk that. And I just looked at her and I said, look, if I don't ask, I already told myself no. But if I ask, I have a chance.
Right.
And there was a silence. She looked up and said, do you want to leave tomorrow? And I said, I haven't packed. And she goes, tell them that my ships are your ships and the rest is history. A couple of days or maybe a week later, I was bound for America on a ship. Marionel was the name of the ship, the Marionel. And I found my promised land, America.
That's fantastic. And when you came, you were 18. Did you go to school first, or what did you do when you got here?
That's a very good question. Believe it or not, my background. Then I ended up going to theology school. This family wanted me to go to. They wanted me to go in the East Coast to a very strict school. I'm not really that religious, to be honest. I mean, I'm a believer, of course, but I'm very open-minded. And I found this place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where I met Tracy. Tracy is a missionary daughter to missionary kids, missionary parents in Brazil. And I ended up in Minnesota and did 4 years of theology. Did 1 year in France, helping out children, that are in drugs and stuff like that. To Café Bar, like we call them in France. And that was an amazing experience. So I ended up meeting Tracy there. We got married and started the company almost 25 years ago.
Okay. Tell everybody the name of your company.
Yeah, the name of the company is Estetique, Estetique Inc. USA, and we're based in Miami. And we have been doing this for about 25 years. And we're very big in South America. Now we're actually taking the U.S. by storm. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But we have, we've done a lot of hard work. We have about over 5,000 units placed in the non-invasive industry. That's our space. About 1,000 centers in 25 countries over 20 years. And that's in a nutshell, that's who we are.
And what is your product, or what are your products?
One of the main products that we have is called the Lipomax. We have a range of products that go from light-based technology and things like that. And what we want to do is bring to the plastic. I started with plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is one of my biggest market, mainly in South America. And we have a lot of products for hair removal, like, the bio lasers and things like that. Body contouring, the Lipomax is a big name in South America. Now it's becoming a big name in the United States. And that's basically our space,
Do you still primarily sell to plastic surgeons, or are you selling to all people in the aesthetic space?
That is a very good question. We have seen that there's a lot of investors who would like to, to enter this industry. I think you have a similar concept with the orange twist, where they're investors, even though the ones who run it day to day are estheticians and doctors. There's a lot of people interested in and that's why we are so interested now in the United States, because I have, Grant, from Mexico all the way down, I may be, if not as a client, I may be 1, 2 people, or actually with the president of that country. I know them, so there's a lot of investors that would say, hey, I want, and now with the whole COVID thing, I want to go to the United States. I want to open a center. Teach me about this. I know who you are. Why don't we go to America? That's why now we're going strong into the U.S., because I have a lot of people asking me, I want to open up a center, and we are actually having, this is the next step that I wanted to talk to you about. I think I shared with you the first interview that we had, a few years ago.
Yep.
And you're going to be coming to Miami soon. We're actually going to be opening the first center, the first aesthetic center, and that should be done by the end of this year. We signed papers actually yesterday for the location. And before we're going to do with a bunch of investors. Tracy and I have always believed in trying to do everything ourselves, and grow slowly and so on. So this is going to be funded by Estetique, even though we have a lot of people waiting in line. We wanted the first one, wanted to work to be profitable, and then allow people, because people have been begging me, please let me open up the center with the Estetique name in the outside, of course.
And what are you going to offer? What services will you offer at that center in Miami?
Very good questions. I think we're going to do injectables. That's one thing that we've been talking lately, because we started with the idea of hair removal, which is a big thing, and body contouring in that space that is hot, at least in South America. And I understand it's the same in the States. And I was actually going to ask you, because, we can still take some and put in, this is going to be the first one. It's going to be our pilot. But for the last 25 years, we have been really huge on body contouring, non-invasive. And actually, a lot of the plastic surgeons, I remember when I started, I said, look, I'm your friend, I'm your best friend, because I want you to actually elevate the Hippocratic Oath. Because at the beginning, 25 years ago, they were like, what are you doing with these machines here? It was only cannulas and breast implants. And I have seen that in the United States, it was this PubMed starting to happen. And I went all the way down to I'm sure you know the FILAC, the international, for the 25 countries, the Association of Plastic Surgery. I don't know what the FILAC stands for. It's Federation of International. They have this organization.
Yes.
And I ended up going to Lima, Peru, of all places.
Okay.
And it was that's how I got started. Going to plastic surgery to me it's my home, because that's where I got started.
And what are your long-term plans then? You're going to open this one up in Miami. Are you going to prove the concept and then raise money and open more, or what are your plans?
Yes, the first, okay, let's go back. When I have the magazine right here, right? When this was printed, now Fortune just did an article on us, but this one, I think you've seen it, before.
I have.
I think I got to send you the printed version and stuff. We actually had a Venezuelan investor who gave us quite a sizable amount of money. Of course, in Venezuela, it became basically not kosher to do it with Venezuelan investors, so we decided not to do that. And actually, that was a godsend in a sense, because I think it's better if when my father, he's gone now, he's passed. I remember that he mentioned to me, Moshe, if you want to open a chicken business, he goes, even if you have the money to get it, I know goes counter to a lot of the big investors in the U.S., but I remember he mentioned this to me, and I really agree with this. Even if you have the money to open the biggest egg company, start with one egg, one hen, and look how many break, and then you get 5, then you get 10. So nobody will be able to tell you the story. Understand everything about that business, and then you can grow it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a wise, because money is the easy part is the money, at least in South America for investors. That's the easy part, right? But do we want to burn remember, it's my baby. Estetique is my baby. It's my brand. I gave the last 25 years, Tracy and I gave basically everything to that name, to that brand. And in good times and in bad times, the brand has always been the one thing that has always been the strongest, the thing that has kept us really afloat. So I really believe in that. I know the American concept is different. You get a bunch of investors, you throw money at the concept. And then I believe, because remember, I sell to these people. I love it because they buy 30, 40 machines from me. I love it. I've seen it, but I know which ones are going to do well or not. Because remember, I've been on the other side. So I've helped franchises overseas. I know which ones are going to do well. And I've been wrong maybe once or twice, but I would say 95% I've been right. And we don't want to make the mistake that I've seen people do for the last 25 years. I want to be able to now learn from those mistakes that I didn't make, that I watched, and if I have to be frank, that I took advantage of in a sense, because I thought they shouldn't be ordering 50 machines. They should order 10. But you say they want 50, and sometimes they don't even ask for a discount grant because they have the funds. And I could have given the discount. I could have said, look, buy 20 and I'll give you 10 for free, at that price. But, we want to learn from those mistakes, which I think we have. To me, there were opportunities. For the other side, I think there were mistakes. And, of course, we can negotiate a lot better because we've been on both sides and make it very profitable, a winning concept, and invite people like you to be on the board.
Uh-huh. Well, I'd be very interested. So for our listeners, I want you to make it a little more clear as far as what the role of Estetique is. Estetique, how do you Estetique?
Estetique, a little bit like French, Spanish,
Estetique. Yeah. So specifically, I know you have the center you're building in Miami, but I also know you have many clients in South America and Central America, thousands. And do you sell the products to those clients?
Yes, indeed. We actually, this is interesting because this concept basically has been proven effective over 1,000 times, and yet it's going to be the first time. Let me explain to you.
Please.
We have actually partnered or helped. I have a talk that is called How to Make Money in Aesthetics. I am not a doctor. Okay, I know how to make money. That's my gift. Uh-huh. So, for example, I was just invited in Mexico, a guy that totally admires you. So, I'll make a little parenthesis here. I am at the ISAPs, right? You're walking by, and Lázaro Cárdenas, or Cárdenas, like we say in Spanish. If you go to any city in Mexico, there's always a street called Lázaro Cárdenas. This is not just the Mexican president. This is the Mexican who actually took the oil company and nationalized it. Okay, Lázaro Cárdenas, the grandson of that president, is my personal friend. Okay. And I go to his house. We have dinner together. He invited me to actually teach his staff how to make money in aesthetics. Anyway, he saw you walking by. He's the president of the Mexican Association. And he says, oh, my God, you would not believe who just walked by. And I go, who? I go, Grant Stevens. I wanted to brag a little bit. I know Grant, but I didn't say anything. I go, yeah, he's a great guy. But anyway, I think I was going to look for you to introduce you, but you were gone. And you know how it is when you're at that show, everybody wants to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but those doctors, those people that at least they know you. You may not know them, but they know you. They look for this. They go, Moshe, and I see that opportunity. I go, I want to make more money. I only have 2 hands. If I could have 4, 6, 8, 10, and I tell them, we're going to do it in a way that we're going to elevate the Hippocratic Oath, because you're going to say, look, a lot of times a girl would like to have a liposuction. Grant, you and I know a lot of these girls, it's more mental. They don't really need it, but they didn't have an option to a liposuction. Now, I said, before she goes to somebody who's not a doctor, I don't know in the States, but in South America that happens. Many people do liposuctions that they shouldn't.
Right.
And I've been big in the last 25 years in educating those non-doctors. Say, look, you don't need to go to that space. That's not your space. There's something like the Lipomax, which is like a Vela shape and the endermology type of machines. You can do something to that girl without having to give her a liposuction. Mm-hmm. And to the plastic surgeon, I say, look, if you tell her no, and you want to uphold the Hippocratic Oath that you made, because you know that honestly, you don't want to put on the anesthesia. She doesn't need an operation. She could go to somebody else that is on a doctor grant. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
And then she get operated. What do you do? You know? Well, now Moshe comes and says, look, you don't need an operation. Let me start you with Lipomax. It's a machine that comes from Miami. It's a non-invasive. We're going to do suction. We're going to do ultrasound, all those type of non-invasive technologies. We'll start with that. I mean, you and I know she'll pay 20 liposuctions with this system, right?
Yes.
But if after you finish the first package of 6 weeks, you need it, I will operate you. You know what's going to happen with that girl? Word of mouth. She's going to say, my plastic surgeon, my friend, now it's not just Dr. So. He was so honest that he suggested to me that I do this Lipomax treatment instead of going under surgery. And now she's telling to a lot of friends that you and I know that are a little bit chubby that do need a liposuction. Guess where they're going? They're going to Lázaro Cárdenas. Lázaro now has a practice. I would love to go to Guadalajara with you. I think that investment must be about $70 million. It's the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen. He's the main owner. I'll introduce you to him. He loves you. I mean, he knows who you are. And that's the thing. I also feel that there's that need to connect South America. A lot of people think, oh yeah, there's no money in Latin America. Well, they forget that. I mean, who's the guy on the cover of this book, of this Forbes? Come on, it's Carlos Slim.
Yeah.
Well, the last time I checked, he's not American.
That's correct.
He is from Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So there's a lot of investors who are ready, willing, and wanting to come to America. And remember, there's the green card issue, which we are experts on, because as a Latin America, I know exactly how it works. The United States now is fantastic. I love this way of immigration. If you come to America and you bring money and you give 10 people a job, you get a green card and also you get citizenship. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of need of concepts that are ready to be suited to this. I mean, that's the people that I know. I may not know a lot of people in the United States that we're also going to sell to them. We're not going to say no to them. But I mean, I can bring so many investors. They're basically waiting for that percenter to basically throw money at us, and we want to be responsible with that and do it in a way that they can. We can open 50 right away, but hey, do 1, then do 3, 5, 10, 15. Do it well. And I mentioned a little bit to you, but we would love to have you on the board and benefit from it, not only financially, but many other ways. I think there's so much that we can do together.
Are you going
to? They are doctors.
Are you going to start on the East Coast? I know the first one is in Miami. Are you going to start on the East Coast, or are you going to go around the country? What's your plan?
Well, the plan is to have. We want to do in the same. Remember that we have about 1,000 centers in 25 countries already.
Right.
Imagine if you and if I would have talked to you 20 years ago and say, "Hey, Grant, why don't we do something where we license the name and stuff like that and help these doctors and stuff like that? And you and I go, you talk as a doctor, I talk to, as a business guy, and we partner." I mean, imagine it would have been such a wonderful opportunity, not just financial for you and me, but for them as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, the idea is to take advantage of every single center that, remember, a lot of these people are not just my clients. And I know in the U.S., for example, if I sell you something and, even if you're a woman, and I ask you out to dinner, you may think like, hey, are you kidding on me? I bought from you, but I'm not sleeping with you. Well, in South America, if you don't invite him out to dinner, to this pretty girl, she thinks you're rude because you just took my money and there's a relationship. They want to go, they take you to their house. I mean, Lazarus had me on his private soccer, thing that he has at the stadium, nothing to do with business, go to his home, have, see. So I think that relationship is amazing. And a lot of these, clients, friends that I have are ready and willing to partner with us. Of course, we have to have something real and established to do. So, I think right there we have a lot of opportunity to start with home. I don't have to just, open the doors and cross your fingers. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys have private planes. They can fly over and stuff like that. I've used sometimes. I don't like to use people's private planes because, you never know, right? I'll go first, but or even economy. But anyway, but the point is that all these guys can be here in the 14th. I'm gonna have one of them from Monterrey flying his private plane, and I'm gonna take him for the vaccination because the vaccination in Mexico is slow, and now I don't know if you know this, but it's open now in Miami and Florida for everyone. But a lot of these guys, personal favors. It's really good relationship. So I think there's so much to do. I want to talk to you off camera, even as I talk to you now. Even my mind is just going with ideas of so much that we can do. I am excited. I am super excited. And this is providential that we are talking today I told Tracy, Grant doesn't know this. I really haven't talked to Grant about this. He may know about 5% of who we are. And, we just signed on our first location when you called and said, I go, wow, this is providential. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be with you. I have a lot of respect and admiration for you, what you've done. You're one of the luminaries of plastic surgery in the United States and around the world. And when I say that, look, I've been around. I know if somebody knows, modestly speaking, plastic surgery, especially in Latin America, it's really us.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. That's very exciting, Moshe. I'd be interested in working with you and also getting to know some of those people. And
yes, indeed. Certainly
coming down to South America and Central America. As you know, I love going down there, and I love the Latin culture and
yes.
so forth. And I wasn't aware that you had 1,000 centers in 25 countries. I was not aware of that.
Yeah,
so thank you for sharing this.
Honestly, even myself, sometimes I go, wow, I look at this, how do we do that? Because I go, they're the big names, right? And when they tell me how many units they have, because remember, the big brands in the U.S. have thousands of units, but then you go to Mexico, and and I have to I'm ashamed because they say, oh, how many Cuteras do you have, or how many the big brands, that we need them to do well, because we are that Starbucks approach, like that not so expensive option with FDA and everything else, but not too expensive. And when they say, oh, we have 200 units, and I go, oh, I don't say anything because I feel like that's a distributor, and I go, well, because I'm the owner of the brand, I go, oh, that's really good. But I'm thinking to myself, well, I sold more than that, and out of Miami, this is crazy, you know what I mean? So we have an office in Avenida Presidente Masaryk, which is like the 5th Avenue of Mexico City, because there's so much need. Miami, as you know, is really Hong Kong. It's not really the U.S. It's not really Latin America. It's that third space, right? That's Starbucks, right? It's not home. It's not home really, and it's not work. It's that third place, Starbucks. And that's what we became. I saw it 20 years ago. Miami is like that Starbucks, the third place. And that's what we have become, that bridge. Anybody has a place in Key Biscayne. They want to have a piece of America, And now I said, I told Tracy, instead of having real estate, why don't they have an aesthetic center? And that's basically the vision, the next step.
That's very interesting. Could you tell our viewers a little bit more about Lipomax and just what it is, what's the energy source, and how does it work?
Yeah, basically what it does, if you're familiar with, I'm sure you are, with suction, of course, infrared light, and then also ultrasound. Basically what we try to do, or what we do, is we try to better, as you know, cellulite is basically a circulation problem, and it's also synonym with being a woman. About 95% of women have cellulite. So when you apply suction with infrared light, basically a adipocyte, you can elevate the temperature of the adipocyte 1 to 2 centigrades, creating basically like a friction, and also like a lipolysis system that allows people to the patient to actually burn some of the tissue, some of the fat tissue. And the suction helps with the circulation, and the septa or connective tissue, you'll know this better than me, is sometimes when you have that dimple effect, what we're trying to do is to get up to a very flat surface, and that's what better in circulation by doing the suction. The ultrasound helps, and also with RF, so for tightening a little bit the skin. So it's a little bit of a multi-technology unit that allows surgeons, med spas, high-end spas to offer a non-invasive procedure that is fantastic. Right now, I didn't plan this. The Miss Universe that just crowned in Miami, I'll tell you a weird story. About a week ago, there's a video where she's saying, hi, I just prepared myself with a Lipomax. I have it on tape. I'll send you the video after this. And anyway, a client calls me, goes, oh, hey, you wanted me to call you. It wasn't going to be a big deal. And she goes, I cannot talk to you right now. I go, why? You told me to call you. I'm watching. Are you watching? Watching what? And I go, Miss Universe. And I go, what? I turn it on. Oh my God, it's in Miami. But Andrea Mesa, who won, I go, Andrea Mesa, wait a minute. We trained. We prepared with the Lipomax 2 years ago, and she was number 2 in China. What is she doing? Well, she won Miss Chihuahua. She won Miss Mexico. And then I go, 12. And I go, okay, wow, that's fantastic. Last time she was second. She got number 1. She won. The new Miss Universe prepared herself with the Lipomax. I also can give you other names of people that use it, even for private use. This is kind of crazy. I also have a unit that I haven't talked to you about, and it's basically a collagen bed, red light for years. It's almost like if you have a ball that is like all shrinked up. Imagine if you put air in there, collagen, and the wrinkles do not disappear. They're filled, right, in a natural way. Because as you know, Harvard studies with red light at 620 nanometers can actually enhance the production of collagen on the body. So about 10 years ago, I had this cockeyed idea, and I said, let's go to Dubai. I want to be, because the idea is to be global. I haven't talked to you about that one. We got to do the US and the 25 countries that we've been in. So I said, let's go. Tracy goes, Chris, let's go to Dubai. That'll be fun. We're going to have a blast. And we launched this unit right there in Dubai. It was unbelievable with the burkas and, and the funny thing is a lot of the buyers of that unit for private use, the president of some of the countries in South America, I got to have some kind of relation with them because they bought it in Dubai. Of course, they don't tell you who they are. They send buyers. And I remember that we had a call after the Dubai show, and somebody in Panama said, I cannot get in. They have to say, it's almost like it looks like a tanning bed, with red lights called the Lipomax. I thought I mentioned that to you. I don't know if I did or not. So much that I got to tell you. Anyway, he goes, I cannot get into to the installation. I go, where? To the palace. And I go, what are you talking about? Just get in. He goes, it is. Do you know who bought the machine? It's a presidential palace. It's the big boss. And I go, what? It was Martinelli, the president. Anyway, we have so many anecdotes that I could tell you. I don't want to bore you with details, but it's fascinating. And a lot of the, and Tracy, we just looked at each other. We worked with a lot of passion on our brand, a lot of passion, and we're still there. We want to be, we want to be touched, the client. We don't just want to be to the point that we don't know who they are, right? And I would say that at least 3 Miss Universes have prepared with the Lipomax. I also have one of the best designers in Colombia, Hernan Sahar, and he says, my designs look better when they use Lipomax. In other words, why are you going to spend $3,000 on a suit or on a beautiful dress or $5,000, but you have a lot of fat, it's showing. So we did a lot of like the mixture of beauty and high fashion, and we would do like the catwalks and stuff like that. Beautiful. And he's been in Paris, and his family of the Colombian president, and we had the whole country open for us. We got to go together to Colombia. Colombia is not what people think. Anyway, we have the catwalk. I mean, Hernan was on the presidential plane, and he's related to the president. Anyway, he's a well-known one, and he stays at my house. We're like brothers, and he's the most. He went to Dubai with me, and there we are in the catwalk. Natasha, can you get me that Hernan Sahar cardigan over there? It's right there. I think it's. I want to show Grant if you have it right there. Anyway, it's fascinating, and we dressed up the machine in one of his. So anyway, it's a mixture of fashion together with technology, together with plastic surgery. It's beautiful. So somebody told me, are you crazy? What does, fashion have to do with plastic surgery? And I said, everything. I go, why? I said, because I say so. Simple. You know what I mean? It's about telling the story in a way that changes lives, in a way that nobody's ever thought of, that is different. And we've been able to do a lot of this stuff that nobody ever thought of. Through friendships, through contacts, and by loving people. Love opens doors. It's not just about how much you're going to give me. The money will come. Build bridges with your clients, with your patients. I mean, I can tell you how many private friendships and deals I've done because of friendship that I developed with these guys. A lot of times, I don't even know they have a private plane or that they have this huge farm. I don't know any of that. I just love them, And love opens doors, and I hope, we don't do everything perfect, but we try to really build a relationship that goes beyond just you buy from me, and that's all. We want to have, another thing that I haven't told you about the company, we are, because of our background, we used to do it in private. I thought, Tracy, we got to tell the story. We have donated over $500,000 to building orphanages. You saw the pictures with Clinton, and I don't know if you saw those or not. And with the other, it's because of that. We donated to rebuild orphanages in Haiti. We also did it in Sudan. A lot of the hospitals / churches were burnt. We helped rebuild those. And, I told Tracy, we got to tell you, Coca-Cola does it. It's part of, people need to know that the buy a machine, they're not just making money in their centers. They're also, there's one more, there's a bigger purpose to it than that. When you buy it, there's a donation going out. You're helping people. So I think that's also part of the story and part of the success, because as you know, a lot of the plastic surgeons, friends of mine, they have foundations, Grant. They do a lot of the operations of the Cliff Palace and things like that. So that goes really well. And, what we do in the industry goes a long ways with them as well, because they understand it. They get it. They donate all their time, all their money and things like that. So, yeah. Some of those, I think I may have a magazine here. Let me show you. This is this one. I think it's here. And I make sure that's printed. For example, this is the kids, and I don't know if you can see it right there. I was
I
printing
can.
with Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I don't know if they can come through, and things like that. And we make sure that gets in the media in South America, where we are our biggest face, because you got to tell the story. You're not bragging. You're basically letting them know, hey, we do this, to help. So there's an emotional connection between the brand and the end user. That's what we're trying to connect. And when you have the doctor right in between, I said, this is not my project. This is yours. A lot of times I say, let me give you one of these articles and sign it for you and place it on the thing and take a picture with me. All that's part, this is yours, because you are an extension of our company, Estetique. So it's been a really nice journey. Tracy has been, too bad that she's not here. She's a fantastic partner. I have a lot of admiration. She's a lot brighter than I am, and I know it. She's a fantastic mother, fantastic partner, great lover. What can I tell you? I married up. I mean, she is the reason. When we went to meet the presidents, I remember she said, "You go." Most women want to go, show up or whatever. She goes, "You go. I'll stay with the children." There was Bill Clinton for the library dedication of Billy Graham. That's another story, that because of the donations we gave, Billy Graham, I was the last person to see him alive after President Obama. That was I didn't plan that. That was an honor. Like, I didn't plan being with Steve Grant today. I mean, with you today, it's Grant Stevens with you, somebody that I've admired you from afar for many, many years, and it's really an honor. And the relationship we have really established quickly, really. But it's because I've been watching, your podcast. I think you're doing a tremendous work. I know I'm here to talk about my company, about me, but I want to take a time to also say that I am so honored to be interviewed by you. I cannot tell you how you're seen by your peers, especially in South America. I don't know in the States because I don't know the market well. But I mean, when they see you, it's like when we took that picture that I kissed you, remember?
Yes, I do.
In Miami?
Miami, that's right. Ice apps.
The doctors were saying, oh my word. They were like literally almost shaking because they saw you. I mean, you really have done not only a lot of work, but you have a presence about yourself. And I'm very happy to be here to you, telling my story and getting to know each other better, even through this interview. And I look forward to doing some more, not just interviews, but things together, that have to do with commerce and doing things for the industry.
Well, thank you very much, Moshe. And please give my regards to Tracy and let her know I'd like her on the program next time we get together. And we will be doing this again. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us at the Technology of Beauty. And I wish you nothing but the best with your brand new offices in Miami.
Thank you.
And continued success. Center, yes. I look forward to talking to you offline about some of those other opportunities that you were mentioning. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us again on this exciting episode of the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business. Thank you very much again for joining me, and I'll see you next Tuesday.